Hey gang, it's your buddy Platt, back with another episode of our Kirkland Brand Series, where I go to Costco and go through their wine and spirit aisles and review their different private label brands. It's not, I'm not buying Budweiser reviewing it there. I'm just focused on their private label brands. I think they do a real good job of it. As I said in the previous episodes, Costco is the #1 seller of wine in the world. And that buying power lets them really do some cool creative things in their private label brands. What we have here today is the Kirkland Malbec 2023. It is $6.99 for a bottle and it's 14% alcohol by volume. Let's read that label. Kirkland Signature Brand Series, the 2023 Malbec. Product of Argentina, more specifically Mendoza. That is the growing region it is from. On the back, I read, crafted at the Broquel Winery in Mendoza, especially for Kirkland signature. So this is something they're not necessarily reslapping a label on something else they bottled conceptually. Here, and it is Sergio Casse winemaker. Also on the back, it does say that it spends 12 months or a year in French oak. So we should pick up some of those classic wood notes that you would get in wine. Now, a little research onto the Broquel Winery. It's not actually a winery, it's a brand. It's part of a larger, the actual vineyard itself is the Trapiche Winery. It's part of their line of wines. Trapiche was founded all the way back in 1883 in the Mendoza Valley, or Mendoza region. Mendoza is Argentina's Napa Valley, is the best way to describe it. Some of their highest end, most revered wines come from that region, and is probably the most respected wine growing region in Argentina, and probably the largest as far as sheer volume, for sure. Also, another unique thing about Mendoza wines is the vineyards are some of the highest elevation vineyards in the world, most of them between 2,000 and 4,000 feet, but some are over 6,000 feet of elevation. And that adds a unique something as far as the growing season and exposure to the sun that you don't get in other growing regions. Now, if you're new to Malbec, if you've never had a Malbec before, Malbec is a classic red wine grape. It produces a full-bodied wine with hints of blackberry, plum, those red fruits, vanilla, and some tobacco. It is one of the 6 grapes used in the classic Bordeaux blends in France, some of the real high-end wines, if you're into that kind of thing. The grape's origin is in France. However, in the 1800s, the grape was brought to Argentina and Chile, and it missed the phylloxera epidemic. In the late 1800s, the French wine industry was almost wiped out due to a vine bug, or a louse is the term they use, that almost destroyed the plants. But luckily, Malbec and those vines made it to South America. They did not have phylloxera, and so we lucked out there. Malbecs pair great with red meat, stews, hard cheeses. If you've ever seen scenes from the massive cattle ranches they have in Argentina, you'll see them grilling French meat, and they usually are fresh, these big steaks or whatever. Usually they have a glass of Malbec they're enjoying with that. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump in and try this Malbec. All right, nice deep purple color. Oh, you pick up those red fruits, but it doesn't come off as overly sweet. It's not sweet like you would think of like grape jelly sweet. No. Has more depth in the nose. All right, let's go ahead and dive on in. Oh man, that is nice. There's a lot of fruit, but it's not, again, it's not a simple sweetness. It's a little more complex. I do get that kind of dark tobacco. It's hard to explain, and most people probably, when they think of tobacco, they'll think of a cigarette. But if you've ever chewed tobacco, I'm at the age where you remember, and really have dealt with tobacco at the leaf level. If you ever smelt like tobacco being grown. I grew up in the South, in Georgia for a little bit. I've been to tobacco fields and I've seen them you know, they actually end up fermenting to tobacco leaves. And if you've ever been around that, you'll kind of know what I'm referring to here. You kind of almost get, when you start noticing these flavors, it kind of takes you to, like, in your mind, almost a wintertime kind of thing. You know, the plum, I get the plum, the red fruits. You think of like a cozy fire. 14%, you're going to notice the alcohol of it. So you're going to get a little natural warming feeling. Again, this feels like something I should be enjoying a steak. I should be indoors, maybe a pipe or something. You know, that's just the vibe I get off. But really nice, well-executed wine. And for $6.99, I would easily pay that. I would easily pay double for that. So like 14, 15 bucks for a glass of this stuff. So it's $6.99 a bottle. Fantastic value. Again, if you've never tried Malbecs, I want to suggest you Malbecs just in general. But and they do grow Malbec grapes here in the U.S., South Africa, Australia. Other places do produce Malbec, but right now probably the current hotspot or the leader in the clubhouse, you'd say, for Malbecs is the Mendoza region of Argentina. Chile, their neighbor, does a real fine product too, but I think they do a real excellent job. Again, Kirkland, or Costco specifically, has found someone that knows what they're doing, and because, again, their purchasing power, and because they're not putting marketing dollars behind it, gives you a really nice product for the buck. So next time you're in Costco, grab a few steaks and a bottle of Malbec, and I think you might have a pretty good evening. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit subscribe down below. Also, please like the video because it lets YouTube know we're putting out good product. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or things at Costco you'd like me to try, please leave them in the comment section, or you can always contact me on the Twitter page. Till next time, bottoms up.